I think a lot of what we're trying to do in this game is, you know, from the character classes to the guns to the loot. You know, Borderlands is really about the loot, and it's really about the mechanic, you know, of leveling up and getting new gear. And you know, just by focusing a lot more on the actual gun content creation, making those really interesting and fun, and a new thing around every corner, and new loot and enemies and environment. You know, I think focusing and doubling down on what our core was, you know, designing the best characters and guns and environments we could to make the loop as, you know, interesting as possible. The guns this time around are so much better from a visual design standpoint, you know, from an interest, like they look different, they do different things, and you know, just I think that part, the loot, there's a lot more gear that's dropped, from class mods to shields to grenades. You know, those things that made the first game good, but you know, I think in the end they started to feel a little more like granular. You know, it was like a small gradient up, and we're really trying to create, you know, not just in that gear, but also in the things that you're fighting. You know, we're just really, you know, diversity is a really strong word that we're using around here, and we really took that to heart. You know, we had some criticism of, you know, maybe it was a little repetitive, and just really taking that to heart, and not only, you know, just the characters, but the gear and the creatures and the environments. And you know, we're not messing with the formula of the game dramatically. You know, it's that game that was really fun, that loop is still there, it's better than it's ever been, and hopefully more addictive, but also more fun with your friends, you know. Claptrap is definitely around. You know, you know, at the moment, he's just got a little more, he's a little further back, you know, and not so in the limelight now, but he's definitely there. And fans of Claptrap will definitely be excited when they, you know, see what he's been up to and what's going on with him. I mean, we're not talking about like all of the other character classes right now, but you know, there's definitely people that enjoyed things that they did in the first game will definitely find things to enjoy in this. And you know, the action skills are designed in, you know, in a much more interesting manner this time across the board, I think. And I think that it's not just about hitting this button and doing this. It's, you know, there's just as many passive skills as there were, and just other things that complement the skills of the other characters and stuff. So when you're doing a sequel, you don't want to make the same thing, but people expect they want the same game. So I think us, with the Borderlands style, trying to make sure that we're transitioning that into new environments, new characters and creatures, just making sure it feels like Borderlands, but doesn't remove itself so much that people are questioning, you know, what the actual, you know, game is now. We're really trying to make sure that it's more diverse, you know, so it's not that desert, you know, constant desert throughout the whole thing with a tiny little bit of snow. You know, each of the zones are very distinct, and they each have their own vibe and flair and creatures. The concept of the Iridium is something that kind of evolved after the vault had been opened, and it is used in a variety of ways, from currency to, you know, enhancing things or mutating things. You know, in the extent that you're going to see it will be from really over-the-top extreme abusing of it to something that's a little more refined and manufactured, you know, but it plays a really big role in the game.